Hey everybody, Kathy Boyle, President of Chapin Hill Advisors. So today I did a webinar on planning for profit. I was for VEG, which is Vegan Entrepreneur Group in Long Island. They're a subset of the Long Island Food Council. I love food, I love cooking, I'm vegan, I'm a vegan chef for fun. So I love any kind of food business, and I work a lot in the food and beverage division. So what I do is I help companies plan their exit, figure out whether or not they are going to sell their business at some point. It can be 20 years in the future, or are they going to transition it to the next generation, whether that's cousins, children of the partner, your children, your grandchildren, etc. Failure rate for generational shift is dramatic. Only 30% of businesses make it in the second generation, and only 12% make it in the third, and 1% make it in the fourth. So that's where I live, and that's what I spend my day doing. But today I'm going to talk to you about the 5 pillars of business. So whether you're a beginning entrepreneur, a startup, a medium-sized company, or even a very successful company, very often people do not think outside the box, and they don't look at their company as an entity on its own. You get enmeshed in working in the business. You're so busy doing everything that you have to do every day to keep it going. I love entrepreneurs. I love how creative they are. I love visionary. I love most of us are quick starters. We go fast. We leap before we look, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, but we're risk takers, often calculated risks. We can often do calculations for risk in our head very quickly. So there are 5 tenets or pillars for every business. The first is the product or service you offer. Now, many entrepreneurs got into the business either because it was a family business and they grew up in it, so it was a natural, or perhaps they did something in corporate that led to recruiting, let's say, and started your own headhunting agency. Or perhaps you did hiring and firing within a company, and so you created a employment agency or a company that helps people hire. So those are a lot of the natural progressions that we see entrepreneurs go. And so you're a technician. You're very good at what you do. And as you grow the business, obviously you need to broaden the talent pool and be able to delegate out some other things that are non-essential. So that's where the startup and the small business gets stuck, especially if they're a service business like a kitchen designer, dog walking service, dog training. Very difficult to transfer that skill set to someone else, all your knowledge, all your years of being a kitchen designer with a bigger appliance company, now you're on your own. So it's hard to figure out the pricing, it's hard to figure out what is your essential gift and what you can delegate out to other people. Now there's pieces, let's just stay with the kitchen designer, there's pieces of that can certainly be delegated. The pricing piece of it, the quotes on the appliances, the sketches in terms of the drawings if that's what you do. So there are a lot of things you can delegate out to other people if you're large enough, sizable enough, and have enough cash flow coming in. So that's the first piece. So a lot of business owners, a lot of small entrepreneurs get stuck there. They are really basically stuck in a niche where they are doing everything. They're chief cook and bottle washer. So therefore, some of these other pillars do not get filled at all. They're really neglected. They're there accidentally. Second pillar is operations. Operations encompasses everything from what type of corporation are you? Are you an LLC? Are you forming a new LLC? If you're starting a new division that you think is really going to have some legs, sometimes I encourage people to start that as an LLC with multiple owners. Multiple owners can be other family members. It could potentially be a trust for some of your younger family, your kids, for instance. It could be with a trustee. So it gets complicated, but it depends on where that projection is going and how big you think that business could be. Because if that business could be sold for $20 million, you're going to have an estate tax issue. And so that's part of what we do, is come in early and help you figure out whether or not that business could be sold for X, and if so, what can we do now to mitigate some of the future potential tax. So operations also includes what location, how much you're paying for rent, where you're growing. Are you going to come out of that space? I have one website designer, social media company who I adore, but they were growing so quickly that they couldn't pay for sponsorship because they're going to have to hire more employees and broaden their space. And so their money was going into growing their business rather than sponsorship to get new potential leads. So they're lucky that they're in that space, but that's the kind of thing where they understand where they're going. It also encompasses the technology you use, what kind of systems, what kind of computers in this COVID-19 crisis. Everybody has to work from home, so maybe you gave your employees laptops so that you have control over what's on them, you own them, and there's no viruses, nobody else using them. So that's an issue where cyber theft can come in, cyber security, fraud, etc. So that's under the operations leg. The third pillar is financial. Now, a lot of small business owners leave this to neglect. They don't hire a bookkeeper. Maybe their husband or their wife does the books. They really barely get this piece done. They certainly don't plan in advance. They don't think about tax. They don't put the money aside on a quarterly basis. So all of this comes into the financial. I've literally had small businesses that I work with. I have a small business offering that I will work with a small number of entrepreneurs, and I have literally had people come to me with paper bags full of invoices. I'm not going through those. And we've had that happen more than once. So you want to really run your projections. Most accountants are great at what they do, but they're historians. They take what already happened and they massage it and manage it for you to file your tax returns and figure out what you owe. They very rarely do forward planning. And they're skeptics, so they're not visionaries like you, which is why you need them, right? Because we need people to ground us. However, they will not help you with future planning and profitability analysis. And that's where either a coach comes in, or that is where somebody who's an advisor who does business projection and business planning can come in with you. So you want to go forward and think about what your costs are. In this particular environment, we're going to have an additional cost for compliance. So if you're the type of business where your employees are working closely together, you have to now absorb the costs of masks, gloves, gowns, etc. If you are the kind of company that actually has to have people come in and survey you to see if you're in compliance, there's another cost. And this can add to inflation. It's going to add to the bottom line. We're also going to have, the top line, it adds to cost and affects the bottom line. We are also going to have food inflation, in my opinion. So you're seeing animals not get slaughtered, not get sold, which is great by me because I'm a vegan. But in general, it's going to cause price inflation on meat and some types of vegetables, et cetera. You're seeing, try to get seeds right now. You can't get seeds because so many people are growing gardens with vegetables. So you have to think about inflation going forward in your financial piece. The fourth tenet or pillar is HR. Human resources. And this is, even if you're a tiny little company, it's just you can have a freelance group of people. I have virtual assistants. I have 4 of them. One is a financial planner, and he's worked for me for 15 years this way. So it can be a very effective way of having great talent, but on a fractional basis. You can do this with a fractional CFO, a fractional chief marketing officer, a fractional controller in some places. You can have a fractional office manager through a virtual assistant as well. So if you are a small business, then you really want to think about your team in terms of your HR going forward. But on a bigger business, you want to think about how you can delegate. One of the reasons for failure in the family business arena is lack of communication between the generations. And that actually often means that the patriarch or matriarch has everything in their head. Nothing's written down, nothing's in systems. If you start a granola company 10 years ago, you know exactly how you want that granola to look, feel, taste, etc. And you can oversee your bakers, but writing it down in a very specific, beyond the recipe, all the little things that you know intuitively, that's just one example, but that happens with every business owner. They know their business inside out. They know which vendors might burn them. They know who not to extend credit to. They know who may be slow to pay, slow to deliver. So these are all things that really should be documented and put down. And then you really need to hire the right people to execute the things that you are not working in your sweet spot. So as entrepreneurs, we're usually visionaries. We usually are creating the ideas I just reached out with a job application to somebody who applied for a different job last week, and I thought her background would be perfect to launch a division that I've been wanting to launch in a specific sector. And she turned it down, but she said, boy, you are creative. I love your creativity. And so there's no moss that grows under my feet, and that's true for many entrepreneurs. They really do reach out and create other ways to do business and paths for success. So you want to really think about your team, who you're helping, who you have to help you hire. I am awful at hiring people. I like everybody. And so I like to get the seat filled quickly. So we have talent that we use to help people recruit, do testing, figure out personalities that you want to have on, figure out skill sets that really will allow your business to flourish and grow. And the fifth tenet is business development. And again, for some businesses, this is accidental. You maybe got a few good clients. Some people we find have one or two gorillas. If you have one or two gorillas, there's an 80-20 rule in most businesses. 20% of your clients will generate 80% of your business. If that 20% is one or two clients, you are in trouble. You are no longer a business owner, you are a service provider for that particular client. So if they decide to leave you, your business is upside down quickly. Very difficult to replace that kind of size of client quickly. So you want to always keep an eye on this. You want to always think about where you're getting your visibility, how are you attracting clients, depending on the type of business you have. We have one of our guys has a pest extermination business, and they generate thousands of leads every month. It's a completely different business model than ours. And I had asked them, there was some glitch or something that happened with some of the leads disappeared. I said, why don't you just go back and email them? And it's like instantaneous. If you need a pest exterminator now, you need them now. And you filled it 2 weeks later. So very different than my business, where the business owner can take months and months and months to actually get comfortable and decide to move forward. So you've got to have an active business development strategy. It cannot be accidental. Marketing cannot be accidental. I call it choose your channel. So if you're going to do social media, you have to really choose your channel and figure out who it is that you are targeting, how you're going to target them, whether it's going to be Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn. Are you going to do active paid advertising? Are you going to do a digital campaign? Are you going to try different ads? So this all factors into how you're going to get new business and continue to develop and grow your business. So the 5 pillars: your product or service, your operations, financial, human resources, and business development. For more information, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to do complimentary consultations. Take care. Have a great day.